Good morning and welcome to my blog, Wisdom for Today. And as you can see, I'm not at church. I'm at my home office because we have another snow day and we're expecting storms throughout the day. So stay safe and stay home if you can. Today, I want to talk to you about Jesus' teaching in the last 40 days of his ministry. A couple of weeks ago, I told you that we would be talking about on my blog the activity that Jesus participated in 40 days before he went to the cross. And most of his teachings are found in Luke 21. It really is a marvelous chapter. And it's a chapter where we find Jesus, of all places, in the temple. If anyone tells you Jesus never went to church, tell them to think again. Not only do we find him in church in the temple in John 8, but we also find him in Luke 21. The scripture says that every day he was teaching in the temple, but at night he went out and lodged on the Mount of Olives. And early in the morning, all the people came to him in the temple to hear him. So Jesus spent the last days of his life teaching. And one of the last parables he told was a story about a woman. And she was a widow. And I just want to read to you the scripture. It's a picture of Jesus sitting with his disciples, probably exhausted after teaching, and they're watching people as they give their money into a small pot where people put money for the temple. And Jesus looked up and saw the rich people dropping their gifts into the offering box. And then he saw a destitute widow drop in 2 small copper coins. And he said, I tell you with certainty, this destitute widow has dropped in more than all of them, because all the others contributed to their offering out of their surplus. But she, in her poverty, dropped in everything she had to live on. It's a wonderful parable. But Jesus talks in this passage about we giving all. And also what we think might be most valuable isn't most valuable. It's a curiosity that right after this teaching, Jesus talks about him destroying the temple in 3 days. It says, now while some people were talking about the temple, how it was decorated, how with beautiful stones, and the gifts dedicated to God, he said. So he's saying this in context of people bragging about how beautiful it is because the gifts they receive. As for these things you're seeing, the time will come when not one stone will be left on another that won't be completely demolished. I think within this passage, Jesus is telling us to mind eternal things, not to mind the temporary things we see with our eyes. You know, when we give to God financially and of ourselves, God does demand that we give of our utter essence, that we give all of ourselves to him. That in one sense, he just doesn't want the pretension of what we look like on the outside. He wants our very inward hearts to be turned to him. I love this picture, this last parable that Jesus spoke, because he was about ready to give all he had on the cross, just as he tells us to take up our cross and follow him. As you go forth in this Lenten week, ask the Lord in your daily quiet times, am I giving you all? Am I giving you not just the outward facade, but the inward parts of who I am? And as I give myself to you, God, out of my want, or maybe out of my abundance, or out of my very essence, as I give myself to you, God, use it for your glory. You will have some word whether we'll be having Wednesday night service, but if we have them, I hope that you will see us on Wednesday night and especially on Sunday. God's blessings and enjoy your walk with Christ today.